Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is my equipment preparation video for the Sonoma to Oshkosh trip. What I'm going to show you here is some of the equipment that I have and that I'm taking with me, and how it all adds up to be a considerable amount of weight for the course of this trip. So with that, let's get started. So as you see here, I have the paramotor. Probably one of the most important safety pieces of equipment that I have is the ADS-B, which was provided by Avionics for this trip, and this enables other aircraft and air traffic control to see me. And as I zoom out here a little bit, you'll see that that's just powered here by a little lithium battery that's will last about a day for each of the days that I'm going to fly on. So I'm going to have to charge that up every night. After that, I'm going to be carrying one bottle of water in this pocket, and that also has my mirror so that I can go ahead and see what fuel I have left. And then in this pocket is where I'm going to put my little toolkit. And then right underneath here is my carry sack, and that allows me to put in the glider sack and a bunch of this gear that I have down below that. So let's start to look through some of this equipment here. Of course, I've got my reserve. This is a front-mounted reserve, which isn't ideal for this trip, but that sits, and right in front of that sits this additional bag here, which has some of this other equipment in it. But you see I have one battery in there, which is gives me enough to power my iPhone all day. And then a set of gloves, predominantly just to protect my hands on a takeoff and a landing. This is my ADS-B in, so this allows me to connect this to my iPhone and get satellite data on for weather, as well as information about other aircraft in the area. I have a watch here, and this has some nice features like barometric pressure and a compass and things like that. So if I lose or break everything else, hopefully this watch survives. This is my aviation radio, and this connects to the antenna that's all the way in and stashed all the way high up into my glider itself. So that gives me a predominant amount of range. The two things that are adding the most amount of weight is the solvent here that helps to collect some of the lead from the aviation fuel. I won't be taking all of this along, but it does actually add quite a bit of weight. And then 4 liters of two-stroke oil here adds up to about 8 pounds. So, and with the plastic, more like 9 pounds. I need a mixing bottle, so I have that. I have a little headlamp, so this helps me if I land out or if it's late at night and I need to prepare things, or early in the morning. My helmet, which most of you are familiar with, I have so many strobes on here. Actually, I should take some of them off, but this one has a little antenna which talks to the strobes that are inside my glider and turns them on and turns them off. So that's why that one has the antenna. The North Star one, which is great, and then of course I got this new one from Hunter Strobes. What's nice about it has a big battery pack in and can also power up my GoPro. So I can get I think it's like 12 hours of strobe on that battery pack that's there, or of course about more like 3 or 4 hours if I have it run my GoPro. Let's see, what else have I got here? These are batteries that run the strobes inside my my glider. And then I actually have a total of 4 battery packs, but this one actually has a solar panel built in, so if I do get stranded somewhere, this gives me ability to power some things up. Spare antenna for the radio, a little knife just in case. Some food. These help me a lot on the coast to coast, so I'm taking just 4 of them with me, and we'll replenish those whenever I can. And of course some water. This has the electrolytes in it, but and it's about 24 fluid ounces. So I'm taking 2 sets of water, one with that one and one over here, and so that if one of them gets ruptured on a crash landing, that I still have an opportunity to have some other water. This is my Garmin Explorer InReach, and this is probably one of the most critical pieces of equipment I have because it transmits my position and altitude every 2 minutes so that I can be tracked. And also, if there is an emergency, I can send out an SOS through this. So it's a very, very critical piece of equipment. I might point out that my Aviation Band Radio 2 also has a 121.5 on it, which also allows me to put out a distress call if I need to. Then I have like a basic survival kit here, which is basically a sheet, a whistle. These are some matches. And I also have like a fire starter here. My toolkit here in the very back, it's just a basic toolkit that has stuff to change my spark plug and a screwdriver and stuff like that. Little safety light stick if I need that. And then this, unfortunately, which is pretty bulky, is most of my charging equipment for the radio and for the battery for the ADS-B and so forth. Really wish I could trim that down a little bit. Couple of ties, cable ties, a spare spark plug, and then of course a carb kit. And I'm also going to take one of these throttle cables. I actually just replaced my throttle cable, so I know it's in good shape, and it wasn't in bad shape, but I just wanted to be safe and take care of it that way. And then of course the glider and that stall sack goes all the way in along with most of this gear underneath my seat. So it might not look like a fair amount, but most of us when we take off, first of all, the helmet's a fair amount of weight, but most of us might only take that reserve without all this other stuff. So it is in reality quite a lot of stuff, and it all adds up to, in this case, once I add in all the fuel into that tank, that fuel there alone is going to be about 24 pounds on top of my 57 for the motor and cage, of course. And then you can add in easily another 10 pounds in these other fuels. So that's already at 94, and then all this other stuff adds in. So, I'm trying to figure out what I can sacrifice here, and I don't really feel that there's a lot that I can sacrifice, short of reducing the amount of oil that I maybe take, maybe to get that down to 3 liters instead of 4 liters. Do I take 4 battery packs, or maybe do I drop that down to 2 battery packs? And one of the most important thing, of course, is my GPS. And, I need to make sure that that thing continues to be powered up. So I have some hesitation about reducing battery packs, but it does seem reasonable that maybe I consider just dropping that down to 3 battery packs instead of 4. Run low on battery power. Maybe then what I should do is actually just stop and fill up if necessary. So, or recharge, I should say. So that's the majority of the gear. It doesn't look like a lot, but it adds up pretty quickly. So if you haven't watched the latest, I think it's episode 222 of Paragliding Talk. That was the last interview that I did that talked about this trip and some of the great questions that came up. Probably one of the biggest ones was, if someone wants to meet me along the way, can they do that? And the answer is absolutely yes. Definitely encourage it. Ideally, if I'm coming into an airport and you meet me in the air, that'd be fantastic. And if in any way that you do show up, a sandwich and something cold to drink would probably be the most beneficial thing I have. And definitely follow me live. All the links are going to be published on the Facebook page and on YouTube, and then of course on the 50xchallenge.info website, the links to the 4 methods that you can track me. You'll be able to do that there. And definitely you're going to find that the Garmin is going to provide you the most up-to-date, to-the-minute information about the route itself. And of course the ADS-B will also show you the progress on each of those flights through the course of a day. So I look forward to talking with some of you along the way, and then of course also I'll be publishing some pictures and probably doing some live feeds at some of the airports that I go and land at. And I'm really looking forward to the trip. It's going to be a very difficult trip, but I think as most people can appreciate that this is kind of cool in terms of being self-sufficient and being able to cover these large distances, and it shows a lot about what is possible with paramotors, and why this is such an amazing sport. So short and sweet, and if you have any questions about my equipment, drop me a note. Don't forget to subscribe and turn the bell on, and that way you always get the latest updates about this trip. And I'm now T-minus I think 4 days. The plan right now is to launch out on Monday morning if the weather holds, so just a few days away. Thank you, and see you in the air soon.